James Davis.
Hello, listener, and thank you so much for joining us on the Teaching Abroad pod, coming at you on Wednesday, the 28th of April. I am your host, James Davis. This podcast is brought to you by Oxford Seminars. If you're looking to teach overseas or online, check out Oxford Seminars' new and improved 120-hour TESOL, TESOL, TEFL course, complete with access to the unrivaled job placement service. Go to oxfordseminars.com for more details, or give them a call at 1-800-779-1779. And with that, welcome to the very first episode of the Teaching Abroad pod. We will discuss all things TESOL, from travel adventure stories and food recommendations to teaching tips and job search advice. We'll be releasing new episodes every 2 weeks, so be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, and pretty much anywhere you can find your podcasts. On today's show, there is something in the air, and it's not COVID, thankfully. It's love. Later on, we'll be speaking to Michael Burnett and Becky Jones about their experiences with finding love overseas. But first, it is with great pleasure that I introduce my co-host and one of Oxford Seminars' esteemed job placement advisors, Rowan Lomas. Rowan, how are you?
Good. Things are good, James. How are you?
I am not too bad. Feeling good. Spring is coming.
Spring is in the air. Love is in the air. Everything's in the air.
It is. And is it still in the air for you, Rowan?
Spring or love?
Love.
Definitely. We'll get to that. But first, before we get to love, I just wanted to say, I think you called it, the Super League is dead. Long live the Champions League.
Yes. I was hoping that I could shoehorn some sporting references into a podcast about teaching overseas. So, yeah, if you were having doubts about going to Europe, because of how terribly the billionaire class treated soccer, then rest assured it is dead. It's not coming back. So you can go and watch all the teams that you love and feel safe in the knowledge that soccer won't be changing for, the next 5 years at least anyway.
Awesome. Well, enough about footy. We're here to talk about teaching abroad and how I fell in love teaching abroad. And I guess I wanted to provide a little bit of context about what it was like when I first got to Korea and I didn't know anybody. And it was weird. I didn't understand the signs. I didn't understand anything people were saying. I landed in my apartment and like, what is this shower head on the wall in the bathroom beside the toilets? Like, everything was just weird. But thankfully, it didn't take long to just start meeting people. Like, I put myself out there. Just if I see someone on the street who looks not Korean, I'd be like, "Hi, what's your name? What are you doing here? Are you an English teacher?" That's what I do. My best bud, John from Ireland, I just noticed this guy on the same bus as me going to the same apartment complex out in the middle of nowhere. So I just walked up to him. It's like, "Are you an English teacher?" "Yeah," he was a public school teacher. We happen to live in the same apartment complex. Who knew? So just things like that. And so yeah, that's how I met my wife, basically, is just putting myself out there, saying hi to anybody who will listen. And some acquaintance invited me to this going away dinner for some old couple from, I shouldn't say old, older couple from New Zealand who I think were working at the Gwangju National University. And it was at this restaurant in Daejeon. And I'm always looking for any excuse to go out at this point. So I went to this restaurant in Daejeon, and it was this like North African, Middle Eastern, I think it was Alibaba's or something. They had hookah pipes down the street from a shisha cafe. I'm just like, what is this? This is not like I imagined Korea to be at all. It's more cosmopolitan than where I grew up, even, in a sense. But so I'm at this dinner, with my curried lamb leg and a bunch of people I don't know. And I saw this pretty lady just down the table, and we got to talking. She was from basically where I'm from, near Toronto. And we got to talking about Canadian music, telling her about my fandom for Arcade Fire, Broken Social Scene, things like that. She she happened to be a Nickelback fan, I think, and I let that slide. But yeah, so we had some other common musical interests. I'm a big hockey fan, Vancouver Canucks fan. She was a big Roberto Luongo fan, who was the goalie of the Canucks at the time. So we just had found things to talk about, arranged to meet up again at another party in my city of Gongju, which was the going away party for the same couple. Made a beautiful house. Just, I guess, my apartment did not compare in any way. They had a nice big place, multiple bedrooms, living spaces. I guess the uni teachers could afford better places than the Hagwon teachers, maybe, which is, the free apartment given to you by your school. But so we're hanging out there. She came back to my place to watch the Canucks game on NHL Live, which is, as you know, a great time difference. So we're watching hockey at, 7 a.m. or something. And the rest is history. It's been together ever since. I think as soon as Luongo left, she was no longer a Canucks fan, but we found other common interests, I guess.
The big question, is she still a Nickelback fan?
She does not listen to Nickelback, at least not near me.
Okay, and also I just want to give a shout out to Alibaba's. I've definitely eaten there myself. I feel like it's an institution in Daejeon.
Must be. I have so many good memories about Daejeon, whether it's Santa Claus bar where you can play foosball and darts, and they had PlayStation and you could choose your own music. All these kinds of things you would not find at most pubs in North America. Not
Also,
anymore.
booze in a bag as well. Very big in Daejeon.
We should make a trip to Daejeon one of these days.
Yeah, I feel like
But
it's just
you yourself went and taught in Korea, if I recall, and that's where you met your wife, isn't it? What's your relationship origin story?
yes, I did. I was in the country about 6 months, having a good time. Um, like you said yourself, at first it's very tricky, and I was like counting down coming home. I was in a fairly small city called Iksan, so not so many foreigners. So it wasn't apparent at first, you know, who was there to be made friends with. But after a month or so, I met a really good group of friends, and then similar to you, it's all about that dinner. There's so many dinners when you're a teacher overseas, especially in Korea. And we would all meet on a Friday night. And Shannon was new to the city. She'd only been here about a week or so. So I kindly said that I would meet her outside the most romantic of spots, Baskin Robbins. And then I would show her where the restaurant was. She was very concerned that she wouldn't recognize me because she hadn't acclimated yet, so she didn't realize that I was probably going to be the only foreigner that she saw on that street. So she did manage to find me, and then took her to the restaurant. We ended up sitting next to each other, started chatting. To carry on the theme of being a perfect gentleman, I offered to show her around the city the following Sunday. Took her out for sushi, just an all-round English gentleman. And the rest is history. I'm now living together in Canada with our dog, Siggy.
Awesome. I will say you were much more gentlemanly than I, who was like, let's watch hockey.
Yeah, 7 a.m. hockey. is, yeah, that sounds good though. That's all you can do. You Canadians can't resist.
No, I would take my laptop to work, and like my lesson planning time, I'd be watching playoff hockey on my laptop. Like I was pretty addicted to the playoff run they were on at the time, I guess.
That is fair. I worked for a Canadian guy, and he would just do the same thing. Like we'd all be planning lessons, and he would just be kicking back, watching hockey.
I mean, to bring it back to sports, I guess, our Hagwon owner was big into baseball. So he would, when the World Baseball Classic was on, he would commandeer the large screen TVs in the classrooms and put baseball on them. So stop the English lessons. We're going to watch baseball. Not very often, but at least once or twice.
I feel like we've done an excellent job selling Korea so far. But hopefully Mike and Becky will give us a fresh perspective when they can talk to us about China.
Sounds good.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and after that we will be joined by Mike and Becky to discuss all things romance and China. So we'll see you in a second. With Oxford Seminars, starting your new career teaching ESL couldn't be easier. Oxford Seminars has trained 70,000 teachers over the past 20 years, and you could be next. The comprehensive 120-hour program starts with live instruction from an experienced ESL teacher, followed by convenient online modules. If your goal is to relocate overseas or even teach in the comfort of your own home, Oxford Seminars' renowned lifetime job placement service will get you where you want to be. Call 1-800-779-1779 by April 30th and give the code POD428 to get $50 off your Oxford Seminars TESOL course price. If you're too late, don't worry, there'll be another discount code in the next episode. Alternatively, attend an upcoming free Oxford Seminars information session because discounts are offered there too. Now back to the show. And we are back. Thank you very much. We are now joined by the 2013 graduate of the Oxford Seminars course, Michael Burnett, or probably Mike. Would you prefer Mike?
I'll go with either.
And we have the lovely Becky Jones, who is a job placement advisor at Oxford Seminars. And so just a little bit of background. Mike found a teaching job in Gyeonggi-do, Korea, with the help of the job placement service. Not Becky, though.
Not me.
And then he took a job in Guri City, Korea. And then later on, he moved to China, where he met Becky. And then Becky set off for China in 2016, went on to teach at 2 international schools in Dongguan and Guangzhou before joining Oxford Seminars. So let's hear some more from this transatlantic couple. Becky, why don't you start off and tell us how you guys met?
Well, Mike was the first teacher I ever met in China. I just got there, I just got off my flight, just got my bags down, and we were told by the foreign leader that we were going to go for dinner. So I came out my room and Mike started strutting towards me and introduced himself, and that's how we met. So it was my very first day. And then we became friends instantly, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because there was only 5 foreign teachers at the school, so we spent a lot of time together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how you remember it, Mike?
Yeah. No, that's it. Yeah, that's exactly how it is. Yeah.
Exactly how it went. And is
Yeah,
there
no, I remember my strut.
anything especially memorable from that budding romance in the early days?
We did a lot of travel,
Yeah.
didn't we? Because we both went to China to travel and we were friends, so we did a lot of traveling together. And we went to Hong Kong, Lamma Island, and that's why you asked me to be your girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's romantic. But yeah, we've had a lot of travels, so yeah.
All right. Well, maybe we'll get a bit more into some of your travels in a bit, but just going back to Korea for a bit, Mike, what would you say is one memory that always sticks out? For example, In my first month in Korea, one of the Korean teachers who was being really great about showing me around and showing me all the sights to see in the area, he took me to a baseball game in Daejeon. It's not MLB, but it's definitely one of the top leagues in the world, right? So,
Yeah.
anyways, he got us these seats right behind home plate, and it was super cheap, like maybe $10 each. And I was just so blown away by that. I mean, if you're going to Yankee Stadium for a Yankees game, what do you got to pay for seats behind home plate? Probably like $500 minimum.
Yeah.
And so we got these super cheap seats, and he ordered kyochon chicken from a restaurant outside the stadium, which they delivered right to our seat, which they would never let happen in MLB. Like you're going to overpay for beer and hot dogs, and they never let you bring your own food into the stadium. So I don't know, that's always stuck with me. Like, you can get such good things in Korea for so cheap.
Yeah.
And I will say, now I'm always looking for kyochon chicken wherever I go. I've never seen it anywhere else but Korea. I'm not really a fan of fried chicken per se. I don't want KFC, I don't want Popeyes, but if you find me a kyochon chicken, please tell me where it is.
Well, one thing that always stands out to me is like when I first got to Korea, I tried like a whole bunch of like I don't know, I tried a whole bunch of things, but like the one thing that really stuck with me was when one of my Korean friends that I made early on, it was a coworker, one of the teachers at the school, they took me hiking, and yeah, him and I would just, and it like I'm from Ontario where we don't really have mountains. And so it was just like, yeah, it was just my first time climbing a mountain. It was just really cool staying at the top of the mountain, just looking out of it.
Yeah, for sure. That's memorable for me as well. So many national parks with mountains and great hiking. Or if you ever go to Jeju, of course, Halasan volcano is a must do.
Yeah.
Anything like that for you, James?
I can relate more to the kyochon chicken and the baseball than the hiking, personally. I did one hike. Really, the name escapes me. There was a giant, appropriate because of what's behind me, but there was a giant Buddha statue there. But I cannot remember what it was, but it was hard. It was hard, but fun.
Was it maybe Geryang Mountain? I know near where I lived was Geryang National Park, and they had temples. I think there's a temple on either side of the mountain.
I know. I'm exposing my lack of hiking knowledge in Korea. I cannot remember.
Beautiful mountain. I always recommend Geryang.
Can someone tell me about this chicken?
Oh.
We've never had it here. Is it Korean fried chicken?
Yeah, it's got this special spice mix. Did you ever have it, Mike?
I had it a lot. There's this one chicken place that opened up shortly before I left Korea, and I'm not sure if it still exists there, but it was called Toilet Chicken. And so the theme of everything in that restaurant, I thought it was amazing. Everything in the restaurant was toilet themed. So like when they bring you the chicken, it would come in like a toilet bowl. And and everything, like the seats, all of the seats were shaped like a toilet. So it was just,
I did not go to that restaurant. But now I'll have to if I'm ever in Korea again.
I mean, it sounds
Yeah, a word of advice to listeners. This is about love, so maybe don't use that restaurant as a first date location. Just a public service announcement.
Surprised Mike didn't take me there.
If we go to Korea, that's where we're going.
That's where we're going. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Becky, do you have any similar culinary highlights from China, perhaps?
Oh, there was the tenmu fish, which was like boiled spicy fish, which was incredible. They'd just come out with this huge fish with like, how would you explain it? It had just like garlic and chilies on it, and it was so spicy and like spicy oil, and it was delicious. And you get all your sides and rice.
Yeah.
And you just sit around in a group and just pick away with your chopsticks at the fish.
Yeah.
that's something that I've never found anywhere else but in China, and it was delicious.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I could explain it better, like how, like it was unique.
Yeah, it was just so good. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah,
It's the Beijing duck.
Beijing duck is
Yeah.
delicious as well. I mean, like there's so much food in China that's amazing. Like we'd be here all day if I told you about all the food that I enjoyed in China. Like,
Is there
it's all-
one especially memorable food that that you can get here and you just kind of have to get it every chance you can get?
Well, the one that I would bring up would be Chinese barbecue. It's because I never really like. Well, of course, like everyone does barbecue around the world, but I just never really like had Chinese barbecue when I would eat at a Chinese restaurant here in Canada. And
You mean it's better than sweet and sour chicken balls?
I never had a single sweet and sour chicken ball in China. I don't think
No.
I don't even think I ever saw it on the menu.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm always going out for Korean. I mean, we do it probably at least once a week, just because I can never get enough bulgogi. And Aurora is always wanting more japchae or more bibimbap. James Shannon was big on kimchi jjigae, right?
Yeah, we're actually having that tonight as it happens. Yeah.
What's your go-to?
Mine, I like, it's kind of embarrassing actually. It's like
Toilet
it's not toilet chicken. It's kind of like what little kids eat. It's like rice cakes in like,
Tteokbokki?
yeah,
That's so
Yeah.
spicy.
yeah, cheesy tteokbokki with, or I like the variation rapoki where you have ramyun as well. So you got rice cakes and ramyun and spicy stuff and cheese, and it is
I mean, that sounds
heavenly.
really good.
Yeah.
Obviously,
but-
everybody's coming back from Korea with some different favorite food. I always thought everybody was just going to order bulgogi for all of time.
No, my palate did not get more sophisticated. All I want is tteokbokki and bot burgers, which are rice burgers essentially.
The seafood pancakes too. We really like those.
One thing I really miss is dak galbi. And we were able to find like some places with really good dak galbi in China, but I haven't found anywhere in Canada yet that makes dak galbi to my satisfaction.
It's not spicy enough, is it?
Yeah, it doesn't have all the flavors.
Yeah.
It's just not, there's something not right.
Mhm.
Well, I'm getting hungry now, so let's move on from food.
Yeah, I think I would like to know more about where you guys traveled together while you were overseas.
We did a lot around China.
Yeah.
Like we went to all sort of the main places and some kind of not so touristy places, I guess, too.
Yeah.
And then we also had a month off in the winter, which was great. That's what you get a lot in China, like most jobs.
That's for the Chinese New Year holiday, where it's advised to not travel around China during that time because that's when that's what the busy travel season in China. So you're better off traveling elsewhere.
So we went to places like Cambodia, Myanmar, India, and Sri Lanka. They were kind of the main ones.
Singapore.
And we went to Hong Kong a lot.
Yeah.
We loved Hong Kong.
Nice. And to bluntly segue back to the podcast topic, was there a particularly romantic trip or somewhere that you would recommend that couples visit? So, for instance, when I was overseas, my now wife and I went to Bali, and that was like the romantic trip of our time overseas, I would say.
I think Hong Kong is really good because there's so much to do. Like, it's such a small place.
Yeah.
You'd always find there's always hiking and like.
Yeah, you can always go to an island as like a getaway from the hustle and bustle of the city.
Yeah.
It's so small, but yet so big.
Yeah, I think our other travels were less romantic because they were more like jumping on buses and getting around places. We did do a cooking class in Cambodia.
Well, there's one, like, I think one memory that always really stands out to me is when we went to Myanmar, we went to a place called Napali,
Oh yeah,
and
that was romantic.
and it was just like a beach place that it was very pristine, and it's like I'm pretty sure it's going to get very busy there soon, but it wasn't busy yet.
Yeah.
So like it's not on the tourist map, and so it was perfect. Like the beaches were empty,
Yeah.
there were corals and the water, like it was just great.
You could go and just not see anybody else. Like
Yeah.
you could just find a spot, like even on the popular beach, you could go and find a spot and you might see like a few people in the distance, but that would be it. So you could just have like time to ourselves.
Yeah.
It was really nice. And you could get a bike and bike around, and the food was delicious.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Every day, just like fresh seafood. It
Yeah,
was amazing.
seafood curries. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then to contrast, I can tell you a very unromantic place in Cambodia. We're in Phnom Penh. It was like the killing fields, and then we go to a school that was used as like a detention center, and it was just anything but romantic.
Yeah.
But it was
very interesting.
It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went off topic there. Sorry.
No, it's good, and it's good to point out, I guess, that not every, like, when you're overseas, like, you're taking all kinds of trips. You're not just, doing like couples retreats. Like, there's so much to see that, why restrict yourself to the typical destinations?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's good to have a good mix when you're traveling.
I was wondering if there was kind of one moment or one thing that happened where either of you were just like, oh, that person's just so amazing, and that's my the one. I mean, I'm thinking back to, for example, when Aurora and I were in Korea. We'd only been dating maybe a couple of months at this point, and we went skating, and I think this was Olympic Park in Seoul. The rental skates were so terrible. They were so plastic, hard plastic, uncomfortable. They had figure skating toe picks. I was tripping over my own feet. So I asked her when she was going back to visit her family if she wouldn't mind picking up my skates for me. She's never met my parents at this point. We've only been dating a couple of months. I'm heading off to China for a whole other excursion. And she agreed to do it. That's how she met my parents, was they met at a Tim Hortons to retrieve my skates and bring them back to Korea for me. And I was like, oh, she's amazing. This is the one.
That's so nice. Do we have a moment like that? Maybe we're not as romantic as you and Aurora. I don't know.
No, that was just selfish. That was selfish of me again.
Well, I'm thinking too, like, we went to Hong Kong, to Disneyland in Hong Kong, and it was just something we were both excited for, and
we just had the best day.
Yeah.
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 And it wasn't very busy, so we got on all of the rides.
Yeah, and you're normally not someone who likes going on rides, so but you were very brave.
Thank you. I was very brave. I'd like to say that. I was extremely brave. Yeah, that was the nice day. I think that's when I don't know, we're just real happy that day.
Yeah.
Right? Nice. And sometimes it was nice just like, because Hong Kong and China are obviously right next to each other, and it's like, it's just sometimes nice to just go out to Hong Kong, and it just felt like a nice holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And looking ahead for you guys, are you excited for the immediate future? It's pretty big change coming up for you both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to the UK. Obviously, that's where I'm from. And yeah, I'm getting my teaching degree, hopefully, if I pass. Yeah, how do you feel about that?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We're having a new adventure.
Mike, you've talked a lot about all the amazing food that you've eaten throughout the world. How do you feel about moving to the UK, where it's a little less inspiring than other cultures?
Yeah, but to be fair, like, in Canada, I don't think the food is too special here either. So like I think that like in big cities in the UK, I think you'll always be able to find anything that you want.
Yeah, we're moving to Manchester, so
Yeah.
we'll get a lot of good food there. But you do like sticky toffee pudding.
Yeah, no, like I like some. Yeah, like I like British food.
Yeah, that's my auntie Liz made it for him when we visited the UK, and you were like, "I gotta get me some more of that sticky toffee pudding."
Yeah.
Safe answer. Very safe.
I wish Shannon was as positive as you, Mike. You're very diplomatic when talking about British food.
Well, because like we won't be having British food all the time. Like it's not like we're just going to be exclusively eating British food. And like we're not just sitting here in Canada just eating poutine every day. Like,
But like, don't we all love a good pie? Like,
yeah.
Everyone
Not
loves
Shannon.
pie. Really?
Not Shannon.
Oh, we need to make her a good pie. I think we could turn that around.
We can
Bring
try
it
as long
back.
as as long as it's not steak and kidney. That was too far. That was a bridge too far for her.
Yeah, kidney's not. It's not an easy one to get into. You want to go steak and onion? Go simple.
That's fair. Do you guys have any trips planned then for when you are back in the motherland?
Europe. I've never been to Western Europe, aside from the UK.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to go to Scotland.
Yeah, Scotland.
You're like really intrigued in going to Wales. You really want to go. To go to Wales.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
We cannot go to the UK without going to Blackpool. Like Blackpool is the place to be in the north for a holiday. It is adorable. Yeah, I think we're not got any set plans, but that's where we want to go.
Perfect.
And you can hear more about our travels in our blogs, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're maybe writing something for the Oxford blog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to be writing about food.
OxfordSeminars.com/blog. What might they find there from you?
What are you writing about?
Well, I'll be writing about food.
Yeah, and I'll be writing all about our travels and the countries that we visited.
Awesome. I look forward to it.
Well, thank you both very much for joining us today, and hope we get to speak soon.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget, you could get $50 off your Oxford Seminars TESOL course price by calling 1-800-779-1779 by April 30th and giving the code POD428. Oxford Seminars is one of the leading providers of TESOL, TESOL, TEFL training courses in North America. So visit oxfordseminars.com today to find out more. Now back to the show. Thanks again to Becky and Mike for sharing their love story and love of food. I don't know what you think, Rowan, but perhaps this episode has skewed more towards eating than romance, but that is okay, I think.
I will take part of the blame for that. It's my love of food, I think, that keeps bringing it back around to the topic of discussion.
That's fair. Although you did slander some of my favorite fried chicken, however, I will forgive you. Before we get off track again, talking about food, Rowan, can you fill us in with what's going on in the world with regards to getting a job?
That's a great question. I mean, obviously for the Oxford Seminars Job Placement Service, as well as I'm sure most schools hiring English teachers around the world, it has been a tough year trying to get new foreign teachers into their schools with all of the border restrictions. Having said that, Korea really did open back up with a lot of sound policies to get new teachers in safely and effectively. And Thailand has followed suit. So those are, if you want to go to Asia, definitely Korea and Thailand are good places to be looking at. There aren't as many jobs as there used to be. There's a bit less demand, but they're out there. And Thailand right now is especially in a big hiring drive as the school year in Thailand starts in May. So they're trying to get people over there soon. Into Latin America, Mexico never actually closed their borders, and they are welcoming foreign teachers into Mexico. Some of our contacts in Colombia are still hiring. Over in Europe, while it's not 100% sure that it's going to work out, they are accepting applications. Our contacts in Slovakia, in the Czech Republic, in Spain are interviewing a lot of teachers these days. So if you are thinking of going abroad in 2021, now is a great time to start looking for a job. Oh, I should also mention, for people who aren't quite ready to go abroad, the online teaching industry has really boomed this year. There's just no shortage of jobs to teach English online. And a lot of schools that are not online schools are hiring teachers to teach their students online regardless. I mean, we have contacts in Costa Rica, in Colombia, in Ecuador, probably some other places as well that are hiring teachers to teach their students online, in addition to the typical online schools out of China, Taiwan, etc. So yeah, if you're not quite ready to brave the teaching abroad gauntlet of getting there, take a look at teaching online. It's a nice way to make some money on a flexible schedule.
Thank you very much for that, Rowan. That was actually a lot more optimistic than I was expecting. And listeners, thank you once again for tuning into the Teaching Abroad pod. We'll be releasing new episodes every other Wednesday. And next time we'll be discussing summer teaching jobs with a very special guest. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like and subscribe, and also share it with your friends. Remember, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc., and so on. Also, if you have any great ideas you'd like to hear us discuss in future episodes, please send them to Oxford Seminars on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or email us at teachingabroadpod@oxfordseminars.com. Thank you.